Arthur the Rat. Once there was a young rat named Arthur who could never make up his mind. Whenever his friends asked him if he would like to go out with them, he would only answer, "I don't know." He wouldn't say yes or no either. He would always shirk making a choice. His aunt, Helen, said to him, "Now look here, no one is going to care for you if you carry on like this. You have no more mind than a blade of grass." One rainy day, the rats heard a great noise in the loft. The pine rafters were all rotten, so the barn was rather unsafe. At last, the joists gave way and fell to the ground. The walls shook, and the rats' hair stood on end with fear and horror. "This won't do," said the captain. "I'll send out scouts to search for a new home." Within 5 hours, the 10 scouts came back and said, "We found a stone house where there is a room and board for us all. There is a kindly horse named Nellie, a cow, a calf, and a garden with an elm tree." The rats crawled out of their little houses and stood on the floor in a long line. Just then the old one saw Arthur. "Stop!" he ordered coarsely. "You are coming, of course." "I'm not certain," said Arthur, undaunted. "The roof may not come down yet." "Well," said the angry old rat, "we can't wait for you to join us. Right, about face, march!" Arthur stood and watched them hurry away. "I think I'll go tomorrow," he calmly said to himself. But then again, I don't know. It's so nice and snug here. That night there was a big crash. In the morning, some men, with some boys and girls, rode up and looked at the barn. One of them moved aboard, and he saw a young rat, quite dead, half in, half out of his hole. Thus the shirker got his due. Kit. The quick little kitten thinks it bit a pretty big fish. Dress. Many of Jeff's best friends slept in mesh tents in pleasant weather. Trap. The harrowing black cat dashes at any man and lands on the pled carriage. Lot. The honest swan stops and acknowledges the fox dodging the bothered wasp. Strut. Mother loves butter that comes from the southern countryside. Foot. The butcher should put the pudding in the wooden nook to cook. Bath. Can't half the staff ask to transfer to the enchanted castle in France. Cloth. Lawrence often offers Ross a Florida orange and horribly strong frothy Boston coffee. Nurse. The early bird preferred the earthy worm. Fleece. These unique machines teach people to speak and reason. Face. The raven waits until late day for the great wave to break. Palm. Father and Ma said to calm the facade in the Nevada Plaza. Thought. The small walrus caught the hawk in the salty water. Goat. The rose slowly grows in Owen's old grove. Goose. Beautiful music booms and humans move to the groove. Price. The shy writer types at night to fight the silence in my mind. Choice. The spoiled boy hoists the toy from the soil. Mouth. Mountains of flowers crowd the grounds around the house. Mouth. Mountains of flowers crowd the grounds about the house. Near. Deirdre's fear seriously interferes with her ideal career. Some of them are great. Square. Beware of scarce fairies, rare mares, and scary prairie bears. Start. Start. The Sahara Party marvels at the far star on the safari. North. Laura's warm aura reforms Thor's horse for the important war. Force. The adorable boar snores hoarsely and notoriously hoards imported pork. Cure. The tourist endures rural tours of Europe and procures gourmet bourbon. I don't say bourbon. The tourist endures rural tours of Europe and procures gourmet bourbon. Happy. The coffee, salami, spaghetti, and macaroni are ready. Letter. Sugar covers the tiger's whiskers. Comma. Bertha's and Cinderella's saga is a drama. Major players are Richard, Wilbur, and Harry are running around the treacherous river. L. Linda and Ali pull belly muscles, laughing laboriously. NG. The singing mockingbird is swinging on the ring and dings the awning. TH. The thespians gather and breathe 3 authentic breaths together. H. Harry and Hilary happily harvest heaps of herbs behind the beehive. Yod. The cute, dutiful blue cuckoo resumes cooing suitable. The cute, dutiful blue cuckoo resumes cooing suitable tunes enthusiastically. W. Will and Drew whistle when the wind blows between the whimsical weeping willows. ING. Ms. Fanning is walking and hiking in Wyoming. S. Susie lives in her sister's house on Easy Street with her Siamese cats and Siberian husky dogs. I speak English, which is my mother tongue. Then I speak Italian and French. Italian I learned. I made a concerted effort to learn Italian, mostly in the year 2004, when I left Australia and was based in Italy for about 4 or 5 months, and then French from living here 2005 onwards. So Italian and French I learned pretty quick back to back, but French was I'd had a toe in the French water of doing a little bit of school French, but only a small amount. Italian, obviously, I had more of my sort of feet in the water because it was around me as I was growing up, but I did not grow up in a bilingual household, even though all of the rest of the members of my family were bilingual. The house spoke English only. I kind of applied the bits that I had managed to pick up over the years from visiting cousins or from asking questions and from hearing my parents speak a bit and my sister speak a bit and stuff. And then I did 2 weeks of language school in Tuscany, and then was living with my family in Rome. And after a month, they said, right, okay, now you're not allowed to make any mistakes. And they just started correcting me every sentence. And that works pretty quick.
All right. And
none of them speak English. If I wanted to communicate with them, I had to speak Italian. I don't really feel like I can really speak another language. I can communicate and have myself understood and hold conversations and talk about things that are important to me and so forth. and I have a good level of comprehension in both my other languages. But I know what it is to speak another language properly because I'm surrounded by people who can, including my daughter and my sister and my mum, and I'm a long way from that. I make mistakes every phrase, pretty much, I think. I certainly make massive mistakes in terms of gender and not so much verbs, because I'm pretty good on the basic grammar stuff, but because of the gender assignment of having to have the correct verb ending with the gender of the noun, I get that wrong almost constantly. Okay. And I'm not very good in French or Italian, actually, on prepositions. My accent has become more and more neutral. It had already neutralized a lot because of my training in Australia, as in ironing out the really Australian vowel sounds and flatness of the sounds the Australians make, that thing that Australians do when they just flatten everything out. That got calmed down by the voice training. Even though Australia went through the same kind of revolution as it did in English about regional dialects and regional accents, and let's celebrate the difference and all of that sort of stuff, at a certain point, I personally think that it's easier to hear full sounds and well-formed consonants than it is when you're talking like that and no one really can hear where one word starts and the next word ends. It's less pleasing to the ear. So I also made a choice for myself about how I wanted to sound. So often I get the people here, French people think I'm English because with the how it manifests in French is an English sounding accent. English people can usually hear Australia, but sometimes I think I'm from South Africa or not. Australians hear it because as soon as I hear an Australian accent, my accent goes up a couple of notches. It's like a call and response automatic thing. It's really strange. But no, not usually, not often, not. They know I'm not French.
You know you're not French. And what about Italian?
Well, when I speak Italian, well, I think I speak Italian with an Australian accent and French with a slight Italian and Australian accent, because in order to speak French, I kind of just transferred Italian. So, which is also why I have a lot of trouble going between French and Italian. It's almost an impossible job. I can shift very easily between French and English or Italian and English, but I can't switch between French and Italian because essentially I've taken Italian and just forced it into a French sound to be speaking French. I feel like even after being here almost 20 years, French is still not embodied in my voice, in my breath, in everything. It feels like it still sits slightly outside, but that's also with how you have to form French. I feel when I speak Italian that it sits in my natural voice, and even if I make mistakes, I feel more comfortable. But again, it's because it's a music that I was around all my life. Even if I couldn't speak it, it's been present. Yeah, I think that's the difference. My French is probably better because I use it more, but I feel better speaking Italian.
And what about your English?
I love the English language. It's one of my favorite things. Reading, discovering new words. When someone uses a word I don't know, when I come across the nuance of language, I just get to, reading the dictionary. I love language. I love English. I think English is one of the world's greatest treasures. Not just the English language speaking world, because English is such a hybrid of so many other people's words and ways of thinking and communicating, and you can put it all together in English in a way that almost no other language can contain. I love it. I absolutely love it. So for me to speak it is a joy, and I enjoy all of it. I enjoy the vulgarity of swearing. I fucking love swearing. I really do. It's a pleasure to swear, but I also really love the fact that at my command is a pretty good vocabulary in which I can speak in a rarefied very particular description of an object or a scene or an event, and if I choose to, I can really engage the fact that I have a larger vocabulary than most English speakers would normally have because of my love of it.
Mhm.
Sono nato in Italia, sono cresciuto in Australia e fra gli anni ho fatto tanti lavori diversi. Sono attore, mm, ma ho fatto tanto differente lavori come costruzione, giardinaggio, faccio tanto di, come si dice, ehm, insegnare i ragazzi anche a livello di università. Vivo adesso in Francia, ma ho fatto abbastanza anni. Adesso sono quasi la metà della mia vita in Francia e in Australia, con tanti piccoli viaggi in Italia, soprattutto a Roma e anche in Sardegna. J'habite en France. Ça fait presque 20 ans maintenant que j'habite ici dans Gers, à Pauillac. Je suis marié avec une Anglaise et notre fille était née ici, à Auch. Donc, elle est bilingue parfaitement. Moi, je parle français. Ma femme parle français mieux que moi. Mais dans la maison, on parle que anglais.